Let's move on to another topic. So Canada, like 10 years ago, introduced a new policy called MAID, called Medical Assistance in Dying, euthanasia. And the idea here is that if you feel life is meaningless, if you're depressed, if you feel that you cannot cure your disease, the government will help you kill yourself. The government will let you die. Now, the big question then is, yeah, but 25 years ago, this was illegal in the world, right? Suicide was illegal. If you helped someone kill himself, you'd be put in prison. This would be basically murder. So what's the difference between suicide and the government helping you kill yourself? Well, there really isn't, okay? But the government says there is a difference, okay? So this is a brochure from the government, from the Canadian government, explaining why suicide is bad. Okay, suicide is bad, but suicide by government is good. Okay, and it's really stupid. It's disgusting. It's disgustingly stupid. Okay, what they say is that if you do suicide, well, you do it alone and you shock your friends and family. But if you do MAID, then everyone knows you're killing yourself, and so they won't be so sad when you die. Right? If you kill yourself, you might screw it up. But if the government does it for you, you won't screw it up because it's being facilitated by professionals who know what they're doing. All right? If you think this is stupid, there's more stupidity to come. All right? And what this tells us is, we discussed this last class, is one major sign of decline in society is the over-bureaucratization of society, where the government interferes in everything, okay? This is the absolute number of deaths from euthanasia in Canada. As you can see, in 2016 it started, you had about 1,000. By 2021, it's at 10,000, okay? So the numbers are going up really rapidly. Why? Well, because if you want to kill yourself, they won't stop you. This is the number of days required to be approved for suicide. As you can see in the Netherlands, sorry, this is Oregon actually. This is Oregon, United States. Okay, the number of days have been going down, but it's still like at most a month, okay? In Canada, they'll do it in like 10 days for you. They won't even think about it. They're like, you want to kill yourself? Do it, man. Good for you. Good choice. Doctors have been trained to not do any harm, right? Well, and death ought to be the last resort. But in Canada, death is now the first resort. If you go to a doctor and say, I want to die, the doctor's like, sure, let's do it, man. That's pretty disgusting. All right. Why are people killing so like if you see the number of approval rates have been going way up. It seems as though they have a quota to fill. This is 2019. Only 75% were approved. Now it's 81%. It's almost like they have a quota. They're trying to kill as many people as possible, right? As you can see, this number is the percentage of people who die because of euthanasia. This is the Netherlands, which for the longest time had a very open policy when it comes to euthanasia. And yeah, it's going up, but this huge spike is Canada. Okay? It seems as though Canada's in a rush to kill as many people as possible. So who's dying? Yeah, do you have a question?
So the suicide of Canada is not euthanasia? Is that also a type of euthanasia?
No, okay. All right, so suicide is when you kill yourself. Euthanasia is when a doctor helps you kill yourself. Euthanasia means good death. It means like you will die painlessly. Okay?
Yeah, but like the suicide, you said that suicide by Canada government, is that a type of...
No, okay. Euthanasia is suicide by government. Okay? All right. So why are people dying? Well, a lot of them, as you can see, most is actually from cancer. Now, what's interesting about cancer is that it's the most expensive disease to treat, right? Well, that's interesting. And a lot of cancer, it's pretty painful, but it's not terminal. You can still live with cancer, right? So it seems as though people with cancer are being encouraged to die because they're a burden on the system, which means who's dying? Who's dying here? It's poor people who are dying, right? This is pretty obvious. And this is even more interesting, okay? This is the most disgusting part. If the government were to prove your death, you would think that there'd be a rigorous process, right? It would be the last option. But let's understand why people are killing themselves. And there are two main reasons. The first major reason is loss of ability to engage in meaningful activities. It's because you're not happy. This is a lame reason to kill yourself. Okay? Also, loss of ability to perform activities of daily living. It's harder for you to go buy groceries. It's harder for you to walk around. Okay? So again, what's happening is that poor people are dying. And poor people are encouraged to kill themselves because the poor are being a burden on the medical system. And that's the entire basis of euthanasia. So let me ask you this question. Why is it that 25 years ago, we discouraged euthanasia? In fact, it made it legal to conduct euthanasia, even if the person was suffering from brain cancer, and the person was just basically in hell every day, the government would not allow euthanasia. Why not? Yeah?
Maybe because it was like harder to regulate, like the procedures to take for euthanasia, and because it was like such a new thing, you have no control over what the companies who like provide the service do, or like what they do to their patients. I wouldn't even say patients, but like people who purchase their services, and also all because again, it's such a novel thing. The procedures involved, the medical companies involved, maybe what. Maybe, to me, loopholes. And it was, if I was the government, I'd consider that as a potential danger, something that may be just like disturbing to this current system.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's a very interesting answer, okay? What it tells me is that the society you live in is very different from the society I grew up in, okay? Because 25 years ago, when I was younger, we were taught that every life matters. Every life is a gift from God. And in society, we have to protect everyone, especially the poor, the vulnerable, and the marginalized. Because that's how we come together as a society. If we just let anyone die, then how do you know that you'll be protected? Right? So what mattered back then was about social cohesion, social capital, social trust. And now what matters is just numbers. How much does this cost me? How much revenue will this generate? Okay, so that's the difference in the world today. Before, we cared about social cohesion. We cared about morality. Nowadays, it's all just money, money, money. And this is interesting for us, okay? Another sign of decline is growing financialization. We talked about this last class, right? Well, guess what's happening? In the stock markets throughout the world, it's booming, okay? It's booming. If you're a rich person, you're just getting richer and richer. 10% of the population owns 9% of the stocks in America. Okay, so this is an indicator of how wealthy the rich have become in the past 20 years. In the year 2008, if you bought Amazon, you would buy for $7. Now it's like $300, okay? So that just shows you how wealthy the rich have become due to government policies. At the same time, we talked about this last class, productivity, real economy, the amount of work you do, it's going way down. So we have this absurd situation where the fake economy, the financial economy, it's going way up, but the real economy of jobs, of people doing work, of being productive, it's going way down. Okay? Meaning that we live in a fake world. And the government responds by lying to people. Okay? People know their lives suck. people know that basically the economy is in a recession. That's what the facts say. But the government, and what does the government do? Well, the government says that, oh, it's not really a recession. What it really is a state of transition. Okay, this is what we call gaslighting. This is blatant gaslighting. Rather than just say, you know what, the economy is in trouble and we feel your pain and we're going to work hard to solve the problem, they're telling you, no, it's not black, it's white, guys. You're lying, your eyes, they're lying to you. Don't you see? You're not seeing clearly. Get new glasses and your life will be a lot better. That's like literally what they're telling you. Debt, right? We talked about this last class as well. This is US debt. You can see how the debt is just booming, okay? So up until the year 1980, for 200 years, America's existence, there was very little debt. Now, look at this, okay? America right now is $37 trillion in debt. That's the government, okay? The people with the credit card debt, with the mortgages, they owe $17 trillion. They're never paying that off. So basically the middle class in America, it's finished. Okay? The government has no more resources. This is what decline looks like. No one's having children anymore, okay? So the world sucks and young people are like, screw this, I'm not having kids. Okay, and this is happening throughout the world. Canada is selling its resources to outside investors. Okay, so oil is a big Canadian resource. As you can see, a lot of the big players in Canada are actually American or overseas. When it says Canada, it usually means British people. So Canadians don't even own their own resources anymore.